Scorpions, and they're opening for Kiss, which is funny because Dave was opening for Kiss. And because of the relation that Kiss had with Van Halen back in the day. So that's sort of worlds meeting together. Very interesting. Also wanted to note, Michael Anthony opened up a new Facebook page called Michael Anthony Bassman. Bassman being one word. And he says here, Mad Anthony is here to bring you the best of what I know. That is music, food, and well, me. Hot damn, let's rock and roll. So if you guys want to message Michael Anthony or whatever you want to do, check him out on Facebook. He's raring to go. He wants to talk to everybody.
But didn't he have a Facebook account already?
I know. He started a new one. I don't know what he's doing.
Okay.
He's
all
crazy.
Right. It's not.
He's a wild man.
That's not his. Okay.
Not his first one. I think he had Mad Anthony or something like that, but now he's doing this Bassman thing. I try to get in touch with him, but, I couldn't reach him, but what can I tell you? I think he shut off his messaging. I think you can, type on... I don't know what the story is. You got to take a look at it on Facebook. Wolfgang also made a comment about David Lee Roth, which is interesting. He says that we don't talk ever. And we were always cordial to each other on tour. I haven't spoken to him in the last 6 years, which I felt really bad about because how the fuck did Dave not contact Wolf when Ed died? That's beyond me.
Yeah,
that's really cold, especially being in the band with him. I mean, he knows Wolf very well, and he also said, "But I mean, he's fucking David Lee Roth. I'm so happy for him and for everything he's accomplished. He's just phenomenal. He'll always be one of the best." So he took the high road there, Wolf, even though he hasn't heard from Dave at all. Last thing on Wolf is he mentioned in an interview with Classic Rock magazine, he said that having the last name Van Halen is a mixed blessing, that it comes with having the iconic name. He said it's definitely a blessing and a curse. I'm blessed to have the opportunities that I'm able just because of my last name, but I don't think the last name keeps those doors open for you. If you don't have the goods to back it up, you're not going to be there for long. So I guess if I disappear in the next year, I didn't have it. What do you think of that, Dave? Can you believe this young man? I don't think he'd be opening up for Guns N' Roses, on the Howard Stern Show, on the Jimmy Kimmel Show, on the Today Show. These are opportunities. You know what I mean? That's a lot of spotlight.
But I think he knows that.
Yeah,
I think he knows that.
That's
I think he knows that. But, it's like he always said, that opened the door.
Yeah, no,
but,
yeah. Oh, he's got to have the goods. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's not going to last too long. It's all right, well, they give him a shot, and then they're like, oh, my God, this is awful. All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, I know.
It's a massive failure. But that's not what happened at all. I mean, he had the opportunity.
Yeah.
He went for it, and he's doing well with it. So good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Sammy's new album, Sammy in the Circle, this new album that's coming out, Dave, ready? This unbelievable title. I'm so excited about it. These Crazy Times.
I'm surprised he didn't call it Lockdown 2021.
Well, listen, I think he's actually doing a whole album this time. You're going to get full songs, which is the bonus. He's like, this one's full songs.
When did full songs become a bonus?
In Sammy world, because I think the Grammy people got back to Sam and said, Sam, it's great to hear from you. Listen, in terms of nominating you for a Grammy, we actually need you to finish the song before considering it for a Grammy. And he was like, oh shit, we got to get back in the studio. I need that Grammy. It's going to be produced by Dave Cobb, who has worked with Rival Sons and Slash. He's from Nashville, and he says, it's so badass, I just can't wait to get it out. So hopefully it's going to come out, probably, my guess would be sometime in the spring. Because knowing Sammy, he's going to want something out there, because I have a feeling he's going to go on a summer tour, this guy. We shall see what happens when they ask Sammy. And this sort of answers one of our questions, Dave. You remember one of the Van Halen news segments, we talked about Mike wanting to sing some Dave-era Van Halen songs in the Circle set. Remember that?
Right.
So
Yes.
Sammy addressed this. He says he's kind of been avoiding Van Halen's David Lee Roth era, but he also states he might do it in the future to satisfy the fans. Now, right now, Sammy has been out. He's doing something like 7 to 8 to 9 Van Halen songs in his set, which is the most he's ever done. But he's thinking about even throwing in a Dave era. So he says, the only thing I don't touch is the Roth era. Even though Michael is going, come on, Sam, I want to sing it. Come on, Sam. I am always going, Mike, I'm always going to feel funny up there just playing one of their songs, you know, but there'll probably come a day where we'll have to throw in a few of those songs into the set just to say, okay, we got to satisfy all the fans. But yeah, it's always been like that with the Van Hagar era. He says, I'm feeling more and more comfortable playing Van Halen songs. I used to do 3 or 4, but now I'm doing more. And it's because Jason Bonham said to him, if I went to see Robert Plant and John Paul Jones in a band and they only played a couple of Led Zeppelin songs, I would be pissed. And he said, you know what? That's a damn good point, and I guess you're right. So that's why they're playing more Van Halen and songs in the set, and he's even considering letting Mike do an old Roth tune. What do you think of that?
We'll see. Sam says a lot. You know, Sam says whatever's convenient at the time sometimes, and then, you know, you get on stage and you're like, Sam, what happened? So we'll see. We'll see if he actually lets Mikey do that.
Absolutely. And Sam also was talking about Alex. He said if Dave and Alex teamed up, then that would be kind of cool. But other than that, there is very much you can do here. You know what I mean with that? It was one of the greatest bands of all time and one of the greatest times of my life musically. So I think we should start sharing with other people and having some fun. So, you know, I don't know if Sam thinks he's going to get together with Alex and Dave. I think he's out of his mind. He says, Alex just seems to that he doesn't want to communicate with anybody. You know, Mike has reached out, and I've reached out many times. I don't know. I'm sure he's still in pain from the whole thing, but I'm not dogging him. I'm just saying either he doesn't really want to be friends or he doesn't want to communicate, but I don't know why. But we got the rest of our lives to work this out. So still reaching out to Alex. Alex is not returning anybody's calls. Apparently he's talking to Dave every 10 minutes. Who knows if that's even true.
Right. Well, I like how Sam says we have the rest of our lives. And it's like, well, I don't know. Like, your bandmate just died at 65.
I know. It's incredible. Sammy also shaved off his beard, Dave. The Red Rocker has gone clean shaven. He posted a picture of him completely shaven on the beach, and he says, growing it long, shaving it off, which he's quoting from Feelin', 1995 song, Off of Balance. It's been a long time, but the beard had to go for the holidays, starting to look too much like Santa Claus. Hashtag beard be gone. What do you think of Sammy without the beard?
I think he looks older without it.
Yeah, he's an old man. He looks.
I know he's older, but I don't know. I guess he looked younger with the beard for some reason. Maybe it was just the picture at the beach. But
you're a man who shaved his beard, and what was your whole decision process behind that?
That was a personal reason, so that wasn't
another one for the Cauldron of Secrets.
Yes.
Boy, that file gets thicker by the moment. So I want everybody to know that everybody's prayers and dreams have come true. The Eddie Van Halen Funko Pop is being released. The Funko Pop people who have made all these little figurines, the little cartoon figures, they made a whole series of rock and roll ones. They got one like Slash, and they got Axl Rose, and Freddie Mercury, and Brian May, and all these different cool people. I think they have a Billy Idol one. It's really cool. And interesting enough is this one is coming out in March, and it is early for sale. They're taking pre-orders now on Amazon.com. And Wolf said Pop signed off on this way back in 2019. He said this on Twitter. He said, it's wonderful to see. It's finally coming to fruition. I'm so stoked at how it turned out. Now, if you look at it, it's Eddie doing one of his famous splits in the air, where his jumps, his famous Eddie jumps. And he's got the red, white, and black Frankenstein guitar with the red handkerchief tied around his neck and a white sleeveless shirt and blue jeans and sneakers. And he's even got the haircut that Ed had from the 80s and his kind of an open, big grin that Eddie's known for. And there's other figures coming out, Jimi Hendrix and Angus Young, and they're going to have even Lemmy from Motorhead. So that's all coming out. You guys want to check that out? They're doing pre-orders on Amazon.com. Just type in Eddie Van Halen Funko Pop. And unfortunately, we got some sad news here, Dave, which is Valerie Bertinelli has filed for legal separation from her second husband, Tom Vitale. She got married New Year's Day of 2011. and unfortunately she's citing irreconcilable differences. How do you say it?
Yes.
Am I saying it right? Irreconcilable differences. Okay. Vitali, he's a financial planner and an entrepreneur. He's CEO of VBrow, an e-commerce company. They don't have kids together, but neither is asking for spousal support. They have a prenuptial agreement. So very sorry to hear that for Val. They were introduced by her brother, Patrick, many years ago. I'm sorry to hear about that, but unfortunately, that stuff happens. Any comment on that, Dave?
No. Been a rough year in the Van Halen family for everybody.
Yeah, that's the truth. Steve Vai, Dave, is coming out with a brand new album, and it's called In Violet. And it's going to be released on January 28th, and there's a new single called Little Pretty. Here's the clip. So this album is going to be coming out in the winter. He's also going on a massive tour, Dave. He's starting in Las Vegas on January 27th, and he's going to be performing all the way through April 2nd in Los Angeles. So it's interesting. It's a 9-song album. People are saying it really pushes the boundaries of instrumental guitar on this one. He presents really a streamlined set of songs. He's got a whole bunch of people on here as guests, which is kind of fun. He's got Terry Bozzio and Dave Rosenthal, who is a keyboardist for Billy Joel, as well as drummer Vinnie Colaiuta, and Billy Sheehan's on a track, Dave. So this should be a fun album.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's coming out. Dave Grohl, for his Hanukkah sessions, Dave Grohl, during the days of Hanukkah, pays tribute to different Jewish musicians by performing their music, and he performed Jump in honor of David Lee Roth and his Jewish background. He said he's possibly the loudest and proudest of the hard-rocking Jews, but he kind of performed the song on drums and singing with his producer, Greg Kurstin. And they have this thing where they do the Hanukkah cover songs, and they've done a whole bunch of them, and they called them Diamond Dreidel DLR. They also did like a Ramones classic, Blitzkrieg Bop for the Ramones. Barry Manilow. It's a cover of Copacabana and Lisa Loeb's Stay. So, Dave Grohl, and here's a clip of that. What do you think of Dave Grohl's cover of Jump, Dave? Can you believe that?
I thought the video was a nice homage to the original videos. I love that he has a sense of humor about the whole thing.
He does.
So, yeah.
And Jerry Cantrell from Alice in Chains did an interview with Blunt Magazine where he said that the band's song We Die Young was inspired by the Van Halen song Unchained. He said it really caught his ear and he discovered it was in drop D, and it completely opened up his world to write We Die Young. Here's a clip of We Die Young. Now here's a clip of Unchained. Jerry's saying there's lineage there between the two songs. And Dave, if you remember, we saw Alice in Chains open for Van Halen in 1991. You remember that?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. The crowd wasn't too into them, actually.
No, that was before
grunge
hit.
They were out. That's true.
Right.
And lastly, for Van Halen news, is Steve Rosen, the journalist, is writing an Eddie Van Halen book. He is putting it out. There's no title to the book, but he has announced that it is 500 pages. He is self-publishing it. It's going to run $25 to $35. He hasn't set the exact price yet, but it's going to be in that price range. He says, I wanted to write about every meaningful moment I ever had